Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Temple College of Engineering's information session on the interdisciplinary engineering major. Just some quick introductions. My name is Colleen Bailey. I'm the Director of Enrollment Management for the College of Engineering. And also joining us tonight is Dr. Tom Edwards, who's the Chair of the Department of Engineering, Technology, and Management. Dr. Edwards, do you mind saying a few words of welcome?
Welcome, everyone. The department is a mix of the unique engineering programs, and the interdisciplinary program that we're going to talk about tonight is certainly fits that. And I'll be back in a couple minutes to give you some more details about it. Take it, Colleen.
Great, thanks, Dr. Edwards. So just before we get into the nuts and bolts of the major, I just wanted to give you a brief kind of overview of the College of Engineering itself. We were founded in 1969, and we just celebrated our 50th year, which is very exciting. And we have a little over 1,700 total students, both undergraduate and graduate students. But you can see that undergraduates make up the majority of the population at the College of Engineering. So we have about 1,500 undergraduates. And I'll go into this in a little bit more detail in a few slides, but depending upon the size of your high school, this number of 1,500 may sound big, it might sound small to you. I know some high schools are very large, but that's a very good thing as far as we're concerned, being within a smaller environment at a large university, so, because you really get the best of both worlds, and I'll touch on that in just a few minutes. The undergraduate population at Temple Engineering is about 25% female, which is above the national average, which is very exciting. Most colleges of engineering or schools of engineering have in about the low 20s for female enrollment. We're also a very diverse student body. 37% of our undergraduate students are non-white, and we have students that come to us from throughout the globe. We have 136 international students currently studying with us. Now, while you're here tonight to learn about the interdisciplinary engineering major, it's one of 9 undergraduate majors at Temple Engineering, and we have 5 academic departments. So bioengineering, civil and environmental engineering, mechanical engineering, engineering, technology and management, and electrical and computer engineering. And the interdisciplinary engineering major is housed within the engineering, technology, and management department. So it's a smaller major, which is great. There's about 100 students, 14% of whom are female, and 34% identify as non-white. So you can see our diversity statistics pretty much mimic that of the entire college. And we also have 5 international students that are enrolled in the major. So within the BSc and the Bachelor of Science in Engineering, there are 5 different concentrations. So students can choose to concentrate in computer, hardware, and software engineering, cyber physical security, electromechanical engineering, which you can kind of infer as a combination of both electrical and mechanical engineering, energy and power, and engineering fundamentals. Now, a quick piece about the engineering fundamentals track. That track isn't necessarily designed for students who want to go and be professional and practicing engineers after graduation. This is really designed for students who have an interest in law school. It provides a lot of good background to be a patent attorney. So if your interests lie in some of a different profession, then this can be a good pathway for you. So now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Edwards to talk a little bit more about the major.
Thank you, Colleen. So this chart is meant to communicate a not well understood manifestation of engineering, and that is this the 4% chart. 4% of roughly 4.5% of all undergraduate degrees throughout the United States are engineering. So we're a pretty small piece of the total undergraduate population, 4.5%. But yet 33% of the CEOs of the S&P 500 companies are engineers. So there's this big lever between attaining an engineering undergraduate degree and pursuing a career path that leads to a leadership position. Now, not everybody that enters engineering as an undergrad is interested in that, right? There's certainly a great place for folks who want to be subject matter experts in some specific field of engineering. It's a great way to make a contribution to the world around you. It's a great way to build a career and make a living. But there's some engineers are interested in pursuing leadership. And that's why I think the Bachelor of Science in engineering is very important for that. So Colleen, if you would move us to the next slide, please. So engineers who lead, there's a lot of people in the world that you're going to recognize as leaders that you probably don't recognize as being started this started this path with an undergraduate degree in engineering. Colleen? Tim Cook, who runs Apple. He's the chairman of the board of Apple Computers. His undergraduate degree was industrial and systems engineering. Next, please. Jeff Bezos, he was an electrical engineer, chairman of the board of Amazon. He was started again. This is a very high profile leader who started his path with an undergraduate degree in engineering. Next, Colleen. Ursula Burns, mechanical engineer. She's chairman and CEO of Xerox Corporation. These are really, really high profile folks. Colleen. Representative Chrissy Houlihan in the Philadelphia region. She's a state representative. No, she's not. Excuse me. She's a congressional representative. She's a congresswoman, and she started her career as an industrial and systems engineer. Colleen. And the latest leader to have joined our Philadelphia area is Joe Girardi, who is, as most of you guys probably know, is the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. A lot of people don't understand that he actually began his career as an industrial and systems engineering major. So this is just a plethora of people, very high profile leaders who began their path as engineers. And there's a reason why the Bachelor of Science in Engineering is a good choice for students who see engineering as the first step in a path that's going to lead them to leadership. Because there's just so few things in the world today that are strictly mechanical or strictly electrical or strictly cyber. Most of the complex things that we deal with, the systems we deal with, are some interaction of them. So the devices on the right-hand side, the little orange things, you may or may not recognize them. They are the robots that run around Amazon warehouses and move products from deep in the warehouse to the part of the warehouse where they can be packed into packages and mailed to you. So if the last time you've received something through Amazon, as part of that journey was probably taken on one of these robots. And I actually had a chance to work on these robots in one of my industrial jobs before coming to Temple University. And I know that these are a mechanical system. There's gear trains, there's electric motors, which is an electromechanical device. There's computers, there's sensors. This would not work without the integration of electrical and mechanical technologies. On the right-hand side is a communication satellite. I also got a chance to work on those during my industrial career. Communication satellite it's a great metaphor on why interdisciplinary engineering is so critical. There's obviously mechanical parts to it, rocket motors, which was my specialty, electrical parts of it. You got solar cells, you got an electrical distribution system, even chemicals. The propulsion system is obviously driven by chemical propellants. So there's and communication devices, communication links. You got to worry about security. You have to make the spacecraft so it can't be hacked. And so there's just so many things that have to be integrated together to provide a very complex system like a communication satellite that we all take for granted, because a lot of times we pick up a cell phone and we call someone, especially if it's a long distance away. Part of the pathway that call is taking is through one of these communication satellites. Integration of different technologies is a reality of today's world. The Bachelor of Science in Engineering, the interdisciplinary, allows you to combine different disciplines together. And because the world around us is so interdisciplinary, if your interest is a path that leads to leadership, starting in an interdisciplinary major as an undergrad makes a lot of sense. So that's the story on the Bachelor of Science in Engineering. Colleen did a great job of describing the different ways that you can combine these things earlier, and this is why it's important. So I thank you for your attention. I'm going to hand it back to Colleen at this point.
Great, thanks, Dr. Edwards. So why interns you should consider Temple Engineering for your engineering undergraduate education? One of the great things that we offer is an accelerated program where you can earn both a BS and an MS degree in 5 years. There are some limitations with the interdisciplinary engineering degree. So some of the majors don't necessarily translate into a 5-year program, but in some cases you can start taking graduate courses as an undergraduate, and then it's just one additional year to stay on to get the MS. Most normal timeframes to complete a master's degree is 2 years. So you're saving yourself not only a year of study, but also a year of tuition. So you'll be, ahead of the game in terms of both education, and you'll save yourself about 40 to 50% of the cost on what it typically takes to obtain a master's degree. We also have engineering study abroad programs available at Temple's campus in Rome. This is really unique in that oftentimes to do a study abroad program, you may have to go through another university, or the courses that you take at that university don't necessarily transfer back to your home institution. So you might set yourself back a semester or two. But with our study abroad program at Temple Rome, you are on a Temple campus taking Temple classes and being charged Temple tuition. And we don't have official programs set up for the interdisciplinary engineering program, but it is possible. We have had students go through this program and do study abroad who are still able to graduate in 4 years. You would just need to meet with one of our academic advisors to set that up. So you can imagine what a wonderful experience that would be to not only get study abroad experience, but also as an engineer. I'm guessing, Rome would be certainly a very appealing place to be given the architecture and the history there. We also offer many undergraduate research opportunities for our students, and that's because we're, again, a smaller college. And our faculty members are really dedicated and really willing to mentor students in research. So it's not unusual for our students to get involved in research as early as freshman or sophomore year, whereas at many universities and colleges of engineering, you might not be able to do research until you're at least a junior or senior, if at all, because the priority there tends to go to graduate students. So you get a number of really great opportunities to work with our faculty on some really exciting research projects. There's also the opportunity to do a co-op or an internship. And we have 2 career fairs each year, one in the fall and one in the spring, with upwards of 75 companies where students can start to make those connections for either full-time employment or summer internships or co-ops. Now, a quick aside about co-ops. We're not like, for example, Drexel University, who requires a co-op as part of their engineering degree. For Temple, it is optional. We find the majority of our students prefer to do either summer research or summer internships because they don't want to delay graduation. When you do a co-op, you typically have to take a semester or 2 off to work full-time with that organization. And again, that would delay graduation, whereas we find that our students prefer to graduate within 4 years and enter the workforce after that. And we're not getting any indication from our students that they're having difficulty finding jobs and obtaining employment as a result of not doing a co-op. They find that internships and summer research are a really great benefit to them. But co-ops are an option for you if you find that that's where your interests lie. And we have about 3/4 of our students do report participating in some type of experiential learning opportunity, whether it's a summer internship, whether it's faculty research, or a co-op. And one thing I always encourage students to do is to get involved. We have over 15 student organizations, both professional and social. So these are organizations like ASME, which is the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, or ASCE, which is the American Society of Civil Engineers. And we encourage students across all majors to join these professional societies because they're a great way to network with your fellow students, with our faculty, as well as gain professional experience, because there's often guest lecturers that come in. You can many times attend their regional conferences or their national conferences. And we also encourage students from other majors to join the professional society that's not necessarily in their major, because within engineering, collaboration is very, very important. So we'll have mechanical engineers that join BMES, which is Biomedical Engineering Society, and vice versa. And you can see here we also have social organizations, for example, the Society of Women Engineers. And these are all inclusive as well. So male students can join the Society of Women Engineers. We have NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers. You don't necessarily need to be African American to join this organization. Again, we encourage students to join and be active within both the College of Engineering as well as within Temple University, because again, collaboration in engineering is so important. And a lot of your great ideas and initiatives aren't necessarily going to come from just hanging out with mechanical engineers or just hanging out with electrical engineers. So we really encourage our students to get involved in these organizations as well as with other extracurricular clubs and societies at Temple. So when you graduate, what happens after 4 years at Temple? So these are the statistics from our class of 2019. Our class of 2020 statistics will probably be available sometime after the new year. We survey our students 6 months after graduation. So from our most recent graduate exit survey, 85% of our students were either employed full-time or enrolled in graduate school, whether it's a PhD program, a master's program. As I mentioned before, we see some students go on to law school or medical school. So we have a really great success rate within the College of Engineering. Our students report an average starting salary of $60,000, and over half of our students that graduated in 2019 reported a starting salary of over $60,000. And that measure, that $60,000, is the highest that the university measures for all of Temple graduates, and engineering students traditionally have some of the highest starting salaries for all Temple graduates. So you will absolutely see a return on your investment in your college education, which is important because the cost of higher education is expensive. But that's one thing that Temple is really committed to, is making sure that the education here is affordable. So you get a really great value in your education here, and you'll see a return on that investment very quickly. And where are some of our graduates employed? This is just a kind of a quick snapshot. They're at multinational corporations like Boeing, Comcast, Lockheed Martin, Urban Engineers, Turner Construction. And again, as I mentioned before, our students also go on to graduate school. So we have students that are at Northwestern University School of Medicine, Purdue, University of Pennsylvania, NYU. If there's any takeaways that you have from this presentation tonight, is that engineering offers you a really unique set of opportunities for both professional as well as academic studies. And sort of what are our students and what are our graduates up to? At the top of the screen here, you can see Janae Allen. She's a senior in the interdisciplinary major. She is, I believe, an electromechanical concentrator, and she just completed an internship this summer with PJM Interconnection, doing a lot of electrical engineering work with them. And I believe she secured a full-time position with them after graduation. So there's some more information about her on our website. She's also active in student organizations like Temple Formula Racing, which is the Temple's engineering's chapter of the Society of Automotive Engineers. And also one of our most recent graduates at the bottom left here, Sammy Sidell. He was also an electrical mechanical concentration major, and he is now a systems engineer for Lockheed Martin. And he started out with them actually as an intern last summer. So the summer before that, in 2019, I believe. Yes, I'm trying to get my years straight here. So his internship led to a full-time job offer. So you can see our graduates have some really great opportunities within the interdisciplinary major and are successful in securing jobs after graduation. So finally, if you have any questions after the session tonight, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can see any general inquiries or general questions you can send to the undergraduate email address, ugengr@temple.edu. Myself, as well as Dr. Edwards, feel free to reach out to us with any questions. So this time I'm going to stop the recording and we can happily take any questions that you may have. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and we hope that we'll see you again at Temple in the future.